Welcome back to Hell Is Us. We are in Acasa Marshes. Please remember to hit that like and subscribe button before we continue on. We're going to follow this linear path. There really isn't any other way to go. Once we get, see there, I'm looking over to the left. Once we start going downhill pretty steep and we get to the hole, go to the left. And we're going to pick up a research item. It is a box of bronze acorns. Then when we go over where this light is, there is a man here. He is Grieving Father. Talk to him and it's going to get us started with a good deed.
Screaming, panic, the smoke, pure chaos. I finally traced them back to Jova, but
you can see that the fallout of this war is pretty terrible. So he just needs a little bit of help laying his family to rest. Leave him for now and continue on to where the marsh actually begins. And this is a very large area that you'll probably want to get familiar with because we're going to be back here quite a bit. You can run over to the right here. There is a miscellaneous item, but it's not required. It's just for story purposes. And if you're into the story, that's a pretty interesting item. Otherwise, keep on going straight over this bridge. You'll get that difficulty settings pop up, but it's just to let you know, like, hey, things are going to be a lot tougher than the beginning, so if it gets too hard you can drop it down, but we can't because we're playing on easy. Lots of tanks in the water. This area can be quite tricky to clear out completely once we get rid of the time loops that are in this area, because there are so many hidden hollow walkers in the water. You'll have to run through puddles to kind of aggro them so that they'll show themselves and you can take them out. Over here we have a drone module and a drone bypass. We do need to get all of the drone modules, so be sure to pick that up. Here we have a new enemy. I just call him the fat boy because he's the only one that's that big. When you get up to the actual road, you want to go to the right and then the left up these stairs. And this is the city of Jova proper. It is being occupied by military. As you can see, come in between the tent and the tank and you can pick up a research item, the ancient Censer. You can also speak to this man fiddling on the truck. We can do a good deed for him. It's a two-part good deed. And then come over here up these steps and you can pick up more orders. Picking up all these orders is going to help us much later, so I would pick them up for sure.
That's all we need.
Here you want to speak to Captain Vaas.
I'm Captain Vaas.
He is another NPC that we really just need to exhaust all of the investigation dialogue.
What happened here?
Again, the general knowledge side is pretty interesting, especially compared to what we got earlier from Ernest and the Wounded Soldier. Captain Vaas, he sees things very, very differently. So, as you're talking to him, we're trying to find the blacksmith of Jova.
Where's the ON outpost?
So, we're asking a lot of questions, trying to figure out where we can find him. Captain Vaas is going to point us to the ON outpost. But first, what we are going to do is head down and to the right along this dirt road. There's a door there, but we have to open it from the inside, so leave it for now. There's a variant enemy there. I'm trying to just avoid him, but when they have a haze, the haze can follow you, so you're going to have to take him out. And really, well, you can see my stamina ran out there, so I'm going to stand still for just a minute and let the stamina build back up. But we're going to head up this way, and then we'll be up again. And if you look to the left, on this piano, there is sheet music that starts the good deed for the fiddler. We'll have to find 2 different sets of sheet music for him. So this is just the first part of that. And it's an entirely different area where we find the second sheet music. So yeah, all the enemies that we are taking out right now, until we take out the time loop, all of these enemies are going to respawn anytime we leave the area. As long as you stay in an area, the enemies will not come back. But the minute you leave and you don't take out the time loop, they all respawn. When you drop down here, you can try to free this dog and then talk to the soldier. She's pretty much going to say, leave the dog alone, even though he's not mine. But we're going to come back for him later. For now, we're just going to head back over to the fiddler and we're going to hand him the sheet music that we just picked up.
I'm only permitted. I'm getting the soldiers.
Just for context, this fiddler is a palamist and he is ordered to play Sabinian music, which he doesn't know, so he needs the sheet music. Now we are heading back up the way that we came. We're gonna walk up those pallets there and get into this house through the upstairs door. And here, much later, in the very last video, we'll be able to see what we need to put there on that chair. But it's going to be a long time before we find the correct item. Here, this may be a little bit disturbing to see, but it is the fallout of war. In the refrigerator, we can find a mostly empty bottle of Mead, which starts a mystery. Unlock all the doors to this house so that we can just get in and out later on. Here I'm just heading back the way that I came in, over by Captain Vaas. Most of these roads link up together inside of Jova. It's a very small town. If you go past the fiddler to the ON truck and immediately to the right of that ON truck behind the house, there's an NPC here we can talk to. You can pick up this recording that is next to him, go over to the house, and the yellow dot is a note and a rosary that starts a good deed.
No, please! Don't take! Shut up!
And then come over here and talk to this guy that's sitting at the picnic table. He's the drunk soldier. And apparently he doesn't think he's drunk enough, which I can't say that I blame him after all of the horrific things we've seen in the last 9 minutes. Give him the bottle of mead and he'll say it's a good start. It's not really enough. So again, that is another good deed a mystery that we'll have to fulfill later when we can find a full bottle of mead. Here I'm going through the town, and you can of course take your time. This main area here, there aren't any enemies, but once you get away from the soldiers, you will see enemies scattered about. For now, I'm going back over to where I fought the ecstasy haze. If you go a little bit further, there will be a terror haze. And over to the left, you can see there's a rage haze there, but we don't want to go there just yet. We want to go to the house behind it. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but when you pass by that area where the rage haze was,
Hands off.
you'll hear a sound.
It hurts more than
Anytime you
anything.
hear that sound, that means there is a time loop guardian nearby. So keep that in mind. When you hear that noise, you want to find the enemy and take him out. Inside this house, you want to talk to the man. It'll start the love thy neighbor good deed. Pay attention to what these NPCs are saying, because based on what they say, there are different clues that will guide you as to what you're supposed to do or what they need. If you come out the back door of that house and go into the basement, you can climb down a ladder. And in here, there's a grief suppressor. You won't be using that too much right now, most likely. But more importantly, that ladder leads us down into this underground sewer area. You want to go from where we came out. You want to go to the left and down the next ladder. You'll hear a baby crying, and it'll get louder and louder as you get closer. A limbic battery will charge up your limbic skill. Continue down the path, and you're going to run into this woman holding a baby. And she's going to say that the baby doesn't have any more milk. And you'll see that yellow ball is baby bottles that are empty. This will start a good deed, and if you remember, we know where there's a cow. So, yeah, we're going to have to head back over to Ernest and request some milk. Although the lady did make it clear that it's a Sabinian baby. We'll probably just have to keep that to ourselves when we talk to Ernest. Let's head back up the ladder from where we came. You can go back up the ladder into that basement area of the house. We don't really need to go the other way just yet. There's really... We can't do anything just yet with the time loop. So come around front, there is a save point, and you can choose from the save point to travel back to the APC. So let's do that now. We're gonna hitch a ride back to Senedra Forest to go and get that milk. Now, it may seem kind of silly. We just got into Acasa Marshes. We've barely explored anything at all. But it is important to do this particular good deed as quickly as possible, because there are some good deeds that I'm not going to say that they're on a time limit. It's not so much a time limit. It's more that if you don't do it, if you don't finish it before starting other things, then the good deed will disappear and you won't be able to fulfill it. And this one is a relatively easy one. We park our APC pretty close to Ernest's house. There's the cow. But we can't just go get the milk. We have to actually ask Ernest. So head over to the basement in his house and offer to trade.
Now, I don't mind handing over some of Betsy's milk, as long as it's for a Palamus baby. Don't feed any Sabinian bastards with that milk now.
Now that we have our filled baby bottles and we didn't make Ernest angry, we can leave. Just travel back to the APC, we're going to go right back to Acasa Marshes. All the enemies that we took out before will be back, but that's okay. It's not a big deal because we really didn't fight that many, and they weren't very hard by any means. Now, these little cutscenes, you're going to see them quite a bit. I do try to cut down on the traveling because we have these cutscenes, and even though I'm skipping them, it does take a minute. Now, granted, the loading screens are relatively fast, but it's still loading screens. So let's head back over toward the actual marsh area. And if you remember, we spoke to the Grieving Father. We're going to stop and talk to him again, but we're going to trade with him because the note that we found with the rosary, that's for him.
Camille's rosary.
So
My family can now
go
rest
ahead
in
and talk to him, trade it with him, complete the good deed, Asunder, and then head back over to the marsh. This is a very, very large area. I don't know how well you've kind of looked at it, but this is probably the largest area in the game. Once you cross the bridge, go over to the right. You're going to take this guy out here. Be careful, because when you see those large ravines, so like on this there you can see there's a bridge that's broken. We can't cross that. If you fall, you can run through the water, but if you fall into the large ravines, you will be respawned at your last save point. So don't try to fall in them. Always try to use a bridge. Here from where we entered, we've now gone to the left of where we entered. There's an enemy up here. This is another new type of enemy. You're going to want to block when it shoots those little shards at you. And those are most of the enemies. You have the ones that kind of, like the ones that look like humans, the ones that can fly that we just met. We have the fat boys, and then we have the ones that, I don't know what you would call them, but they kind of squat down and use their hands. Well, they don't have hands, their wings, I guess, to move about. Here I'm running around this area. This is back to where we came in. This is the same fat boy we fought when we came in. We can't cross over that way going to the left, so we're going to come up to the street level and go to the left. There are 2 enemies on the street. You can take out the first one and then go down to this area. There are some enemies here. This is where we couldn't get to. There was no bridge. That one snuck up on me. We have another weapon level up, and I think 4 is the highest that it'll go without upgrading the weapon. We have a linked enemy here. Both of these enemies are linked to the ecstasy haze, so you have to take them both out. And you'll see that was a time loop guardian. Those enemies will not reappear again. I hope you noticed the strange sound that they make. Anytime you hear that, you know there's a time loop guardian nearby. We're going to come over here and take these guys out. because we need to go over to... There's a statue nearby. You can see it over there. We need to head over to that statue. Here I'm just kind of combing the water because there are always enemies hanging out in these patches of water in the marsh. See, there they are. And even though these enemies are all going to reappear later, until they'll keep reappearing until we take out the time loop that they're attached to. It's good to go around and figure out where they are so that you know exactly where to go when it's time to take out a time loop or when it's time to clear enemies from an area. You know exactly where there is a potential enemy that you may have forgotten. And you'll understand what I mean later. Some areas have more than one time loop in it, and there will be different enemies attached to different time loops. So if you have a Sigma time loop, it's usually attached to level 1 enemies. All the level 1 enemies that you've taken out will be gone, but if there are level 2 enemies, because there's a Theta time loop somewhere, then you'll see on the APC. It shows you on that very small map. Okay, come around this statue in the back. And here you'll see that there is a lock mechanism to the left. And then on the right you have these two candlesticks, I guess. You want to move only the left one, and that starts the enlightenment mystery. Deeper inside, you can speak to these two peacekeepers.
How the hell did you find us? Our CO, Lieutenant.
It doesn't pop up that this is a good deed, but helping these two guys is in fact a good deed. So we will have to do that. I know those aren't candlesticks. I guess they're sconces. Is that right? Maybe. I'm just trying to find the right word to describe them. We're going to have to do several of those to complete enlightenment, but that's just the first part of it. When you come out, of course, there are more enemies, and even though we don't have to defeat all of these, it is also helpful for getting experience for your weapons. And pretty soon here we'll find someone who can upgrade them for us. Let's go back up to the street. We have a haze enemy here. Go ahead and use Cappy to stop the Hollow Walker from annoying us while we take out the haze. Then take out the Hollow Walker and pick up your loot. There's nothing over here at the end. It's blocked. And just for that enlightenment mystery, I am going to show you how I know what to do for it. Just so you know that I'm not just making it up. I'm going to show you where you find the information on what to do. So now we're back in a pretty familiar area now. We're getting back into Jova proper, sort of. We just took out the ecstasy enemy. Now we have the terror enemy again because they respawned once we came back from Senedra Forest. We're gonna go over to the back of this house. And back down the ladder. Where you need to go back over to the woman with the baby and hand her the bottles filled with milk. So click trade and give those to her.
You found some milk. When the time is right, Uli and I will escape Jova.
And we have completed the good deed, Land of Milk and Honey. Now that we've completed that, we're going to go down the other ladder. So like from where we entered to get to the woman, you go to the left. We're going to go down to the right. And here we have a haze enemy. Go ahead and take him out. And we want to go through this rounded door here. And there will be several enemies in this room. But you can see that there are some sconces or torches on the wall. Once we take these guys out, we're going to go ahead and move another one. So we want to, if you look, there are symbols underneath these torches. We want to move the one on the left that does not have dots around it. It's an eye, and it does not have dots around it. Continue around. Don't go back the way we came. Continue around. You can read those things that you can scan on the wall if you like, but they're not necessary for us right now. Keep on going down the path we haven't been in yet. When you get to the first opportunity to go right, there's a fat boy in here, so be careful. He will often jump out and scare you. And there are a few items in this room as well. Keep on going into this area and we'll get to a ladder that has a bright light coming out from it. This may seem kind of like a maze and kind of confusing, but it really isn't. It's actually pretty straightforward once you get used to it. Now here you'll see that door there. These are the symbols that are by the torches. This is the door that those torches are going to open. From where we came up, go down the left hallway. There will be enemies here to take out. Once we do that, if you go to the right, this is the door that we saw earlier from the dirt road. Unlock that door and open it to give us easier access. Then turn around and look in this little alcove for Lymbic Rod N-Z. We're going to find lots and lots of Lymbic rods of all different kinds. These are the things that we're going to use to open Lymbic doors and Lymbic chests. They all have pretty useful items inside. Go back through the area we haven't been through for more enemies. And then we'll come to this ladder. If you continue straight, you'll see this is actually where we came up. So it just makes a big circle. It's not as confusing as it seems at first. It just takes a little bit of practice. When you climb up the ladder, you'll see that you came up from the well in the middle of Jova. This house here with that has a tree house next to it. We want to go around the back and come inside, up the stairs, and in this blown out room we get a recording of a little girl. It seems to be her diary. And then we want to go up this ladder into the attic.
Uncle Jaffer is the only one who still plays with me. He says we should all go to the lake with him.
Once you get to the attic of the blown out house, if you look on the horizon, you can see a gold eye. It looks like there's a building there. It can be a little bit hard to see, but that is the Abbey, which we're not going to for a while, but it's good to know where it is. And over in this corner, there's a girl named Rebecca that we need to speak to. And again, we're going to exhaust all of her investigation dialogue.
What happened here?
We're really still just trying to find the blacksmith. However, speaking to her is very important for a trophy that you get at the end of the game.
So, I'm looking for the
There are
blacksmith.
several
Do you know where he is?
NPCs. You must talk to all the NPCs, all the important ones, not
Do you
every
see where the
single
white
one.
trucks went?
But some of them, doing good deeds for them or engaging with them in different ways will allow you to get trophies because it helps them to maybe get out of a situation or to help someone else, or you know. Anyway, it's very important to talk to Rebecca and exhaust all of her dialogue. Once we're finished talking to her, we can just hop down. This is where Captain Vaas and the Fiddler are. We want to come around this building here. This is the other side that we haven't been to yet. And when you get to the main road, you'll see this man tied up here. You want to stop and speak to him. This is Abbott Jaffer. He is actually Rebecca's uncle.
Who are you?
I am Abbott Jaffer. My life started here.
Again, with him, we have to exhaust all of his investigation dialogue, which there is quite a bit.
Madness and hate.
And
When I
again, all
finally
of these
managed,
people,
then the
it is
soldiers
quite
began to
interesting
run.
to see their
Found your
general
niece.
knowledge,
She's okay.
just
Thanks,
for story
Censer.
purposes. If you're interested in the story,
Where's the Abbey?
I highly
It's
recommend it.
southeast
There's
of
so many
Jova.
people
Tread
that,
lightly, my son.
you know, say horrible
They can
things
keep
about
beating you.
Spinians. So many people
Why
that
is
say
Captain
horrible
Vaas
things
doing
about
this to you?
Palamas.
Captain
And so many
Vaas is
people
a
who are
criminal, and
so
is the
neutral.
reason why he
Like they
arrested
don't
me.
really care or see a difference.
Do you know where I might find
And
the
it's
blacksmith?
interesting to see who's
Even
who,
before
because
all
sometimes
this,
they
I
surprise you.
sincerely hope he...
Did you happen to see where the convoy went?
Lieutenant Rue came to negotiate. Many roads lead outside.
Where's the ON
See, he
outpost?
has quite a lot
not
of
far.
investigation dialogue,
Turn right.
and I am skipping through it relatively quickly, but it is good to listen to. So here, that is the blacksmith shop. However, there's no blacksmith there at the moment. So we're going to have to try to find him. If we come down this road in between the blacksmith shop and where Abbott Jaffer is tied up, you can see there's an Owen outpost there. But we can't do anything with that yet. For now, I'm just working my way around to the back of town. Here you can see they've been very busy with some firing squad work. I'm not exactly sure why they put this barricade here requiring you to climb up and down ladders, but they did. You'll have a couple of enemies here. And I believe we actually fought these enemies before we went back to Senedra Forest. And we have aggroed another one that's up by the cemetery. We're not going to do the cemetery right now. It's very, very small, but we don't have what we need. So just to make life easier, we're going to take this guy out. And here, the little white ball, most of the time those are miscellaneous items. Mostly things that you can read, but are not required for any trophy or story progression. Here, I'm just coming up here to look around. You can see that red haze over there. That's near the house where we kept going down to find the lady with the baby. We're going to head over and take out that red haze now. As you can probably hear, this is a time loop guardian. All of these enemies, all 4 of them, are connected to that haze. So you have to take out the haze before you can get rid of these enemies. I do recommend taking out the enemies that See, we didn't take him out in time, so he pushed the haze back out of him. But luckily, that haze will not keep full health every time. Each time you push it back inside of the Hollow Walkers, it loses some permanent health. Back here we have a cryptic clue. You're going to find 6 cryptic clues throughout the game. When it comes time to use them, we actually won't have them all, but just to save time, I'm going to give you the passcode. But that is for much, much later, because these cryptic clues are scattered all over the map. Here we are back on the main actual road. And that big black spiky moving ball in the distance, that is a time loop. Now, time loops cannot be... We can't interact with them or collapse them until every time loop guardian in the area is gone. And there are quite a few here. And this is a... I believe this is a Sigma time loop. So it's like the lowest tier. Each different one, there's Sigma, Theta, and Rho. And they all look a little different as far as what's moving around them like that. Here I'm just going around the time loop, and you can see it says enter time loop, but you actually can't. It will tell you it's too dangerous to enter right now if you do try, because the time loop guardians are not all dispatched. See, there you can see it says the time loop is too dangerous. I was actually just trying to pick up the loot, but it's sometimes a little awkward to interact with the correct object. You'll notice that a lot. You have to move the camera around quite a bit to interact with the object you actually want to. So next to this time loop, where we came up from the road on the left, you'll see that there is a tree with hanging bodies. Just to clear this area so these guys don't mess with us, I'm going to take these guys out, because they can become a real nuisance. Again, those were time loop guardians. So they will not return. Even if we leave the area, any time loop guardians you've taken out, they will not return. Climb up to this tree and pick up the bloody plushie from underneath the hanging bodies. Still close by. I'm just getting rid of some of these guys. I'm collecting a lot of shards. We'll have no trouble upgrading anything we want to once we're able to do that. Now this small set of ruins here, you want to take these enemies out. And notice the car that's almost in the water. We're going to need that later. We pick up a Lymbic Rod N-Z, or Neutral X. Neutral X. Sorry. Yeah, that car, we're going to have to come back to it later. We do not have the key to pop the trunk yet. So here you can see I pushed down on the D-pad. You can push left and right to change your usable item, but automatically it brings up the compass. So I'm heading west using the compass because I need to find something specific. It's that glowing dot right there. Once we get close, of course, enemies will pop out of the water, so we'll have to take them out in order to pick up the item. Luckily, none of these guys are very difficult. The most humanoid looking ones are typically the easiest enemies. Now here, this is how you figure out the enlightenment puzzle. It pretty much tells you to look at the symbol underneath the sconce or the torch or whatever it is, and choose the correct one. So that's the solution to the enlightenment puzzle. Most of your problem is going to be finding each set of torches. The fat boys are difficult because they can block. Like, you can just wail away on them and they'll just block everything. They also have a charge ability, like they can just rush you, and they have a lot of weight behind them, so they can knock you off your feet pretty good, and then it takes a couple of seconds for you to recover, where you can't block or swing or anything. With these guys, the humanoid ones, they're just really fast. That guy got hung up on the environment over there. So there is nothing here. I'm not sure why I came over that way, really, but there isn't anything over there. So we're gonna head back into the marsh. And where we want to go is pretty much back over toward where the time loop is. You can see it on the right up ahead. There is a highway, it looks like, or it's way further back, but it's broken. That's where we are heading. We're going to take out some enemies along the way. I'm actually not, I'm really just trying to get over to that broken bridge at this point, but like I said, this area is really massive. It's really big, and in comparison to some of the other areas, it's really big. See, that highway to the right is complete. This one here with the fat boy guarding it that has a red haze, this one is broken. So this is the one that we're looking for. Once we take him out, what you want to do is run to the end of the broken bridge, and you want to carefully drop down onto the side that you're on. Having control when you're falling is very difficult, so be careful. Here we pick up the research item Memorial Ribbon, and then you want to head over to the save point in front of this wooden bridge, and that's where we're going to end part 2. So thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all back here in part 3. Until then, Khajiit always has wares.